Hey, yo, jerks. I'm all dressed up tonight. It's a big night tonight. It's election night in Canton, Massachusetts tonight. I took a few days off, 3 nights off. It was amazing. Take 3 nights off, have a little slower dog schedule. I got a lot of rest and got some family time in and I got a tonight and tomorrow night, and then I'm gonna take a couple more nights off. It's nice right now because we know this Karen Reed case is heating up. There's going to be a trial, probably starting sometime next week. But tonight is Canton, Massachusetts election night for Select Board. We're all anxiously watching Canton Community Television. You don't have to watch them. You can just watch us. We'll replay it because it looks like their video feed is kind of acting up. I think it's because they're getting so much traffic tonight, wanting to see what's going on with this Susan Harrington versus John Conley, the incumbent select board race with the effing random citizens and everything that's happened over the last couple of years with Karen Reed and Sandra Birchmore and the police audit. So we're anxiously watching. We're watching all the channels on Canton Community Television. It's pinned to the chat right now. If you want to watch on replay, they're supposed to do a special election show tonight. So we're just watching it. We're just waiting to see if anything happens here. We find out who is going to be the next select board member. Is it going to be the incumbent remaining John Conley, Boo? Or is it going to be the awesome veterinarian, superwoman, business owner, way ahead of her time, Susan Harrington? We're anxious. We're all waiting. We got a special guest too in the green room. Charlie's standing by. Charlie is in the kennel here with me right now. He's standing by. He's gonna offer us comfort no matter what happens tonight. I promise that to our mods. So we're doing that. I'm breathing deeply right now. Let's bring up this guest. I haven't announced who's going to be on the show. I said we may have a special unannounced guest tonight. Wait, see, this is Todd. You won a prize tonight. Todd, hit me up. Todd, send me a message and email if you want any of our stickers. Todd, I'm mailing you a sticker because I just said we have an unannounced special guest here tonight. Any of the stickers, Todd, you get them all. Just send me a message on our Facebook or Twitter or mjcboston1@yahoo.com. I'll send you all of our stickers, Todd, because you called it. You were missing Rita. And this is who our special guest is tonight. Thank you so much, Todd. I want to know how everybody, all of you who are watching at home right now, how you feeling? Is Susan Harrington going to win? Is John Conley going to win tonight? And how you feeling about having Rita Lombardi back on the show tonight? Let us know in the chat. Hey, Rita, how you doing?
I'm doing well. And Todd, thank you. And thank you for guessing that I'm the special guest.
Yes, you are.
All things Canton, I'm really excited about this election. I'm really excited. I'm hopeful. And everybody is. So many people have reached out today with support for Canton and for Sue Harrington. It's really, really great. It really is. All the support and all the love. It's a wonderful thing. And I really pray that in the next 15 minutes, we're all jumping for joy.
I know I'm checking all the streams right now, seeing if anything is happening. It's funny too, because they said 8:15, but I was like, that's not going to happen. It's going to be probably like 8:30, and they're going to be like, it'll take like 3 hours. Like they're all, especially in a close race. So I mean, how late do you think this night might be?
Last year we heard we heard right afterwards. It was not
like an hour. I think it was like an hour and a half, maybe.
Was it that long? I don't know. I thought it was relatively.
Yeah. I think some of the racers. It's weird. I remember some, like, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably by 9 o'clock, maybe. I mean, I don't remember. It all happened so fast. But last year between Trisha's campaign and my campaign, we increased the vote 50%. I think it was 4,300 more people came out, and I think we're going to see a huge turnout. I mean, Susan Harrington has done the work. Kudos to her. She really, she sent something out the other day. She's knocked on 2,000 doors. She met over 1,000 people. She has really done the work that I know of since at least last September, if not sooner. She has been out there meeting people and letting them know she's here for Canton and she's here to help. And, I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. Like I say, I talk to people all the time from Canton, and people I don't even know, and they recognize me, and they're pulling for Susan. They're pulling for Susan. They're pulling for change. It's time. 35, 36 years of the same person. It's time for a change. No company would have that.
I think one of the channels we may have something happening here.
Okay.
Let me make sure I get the right channel. Hold on, I gotta get all this. You keep talking, Rita.
Yeah.
So what do you think's gonna happen? What's your prediction, I guess, tonight?
So I think that look, I think Susan's going to win. I think Susan's going to win. And I think she is going to be wonderful for this town. Look, John's been here a long time. People know him. I voted for him over the years. It's a name recognition. I knew, him. And the last 2 years, has really given us, has given people insight into what's been going on in our government. And we don't like what we see. We need leadership. We need people to be accountable and to make tough decisions and to do the right thing. And I know that Susan Harrington will do that. And I'm just over the moon excited for her. That's just the kind of gal I am anyways. I get excited. I'm really hopeful. And I really am hopeful based on people that I've been speaking to. I'm really hopeful.
And I'm also not just hopeful, I'm also thankful too that Canton Community TV is there. We're seeing them setting up. We're watching our main guy there. I just saw him setting everything up. I'm so thankful that they are there to document and cover everything that's been going on.
Yes.
In the town of Canton. Thank God that they've been doing that. And we could bring it too. Like we're bringing it tonight to the audience. I'm excited to talk about this and see what happens tonight. I also want to shout out. Here he is. Someone I miss. I really do miss him on the show. It's big night. It's wild. I feel like I'm in a little bit of funk, and it's one of the reasons. It's like I'm missing my dude, my Mazza, just to do a show with Mazza. I'm just missing him. I'm glad he's here tonight watching.
I miss Mazza too. Mazza, I miss you. A big hug for you, Mazza.
Yeah, we love Mazza. We all do. I saw the chat light up. I know, like Mazza's here because I saw all the comments come in like, "Hey, Mazza."
Yes.
Well, they're all missing him too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to take a break. Sometimes you got to do.
Yeah.
And
I just took off 3 nights. It felt good.
Yeah. It's a lot. And I'm back to work full time. And it's like with the tariffs, I mean, it's busy. It's busy. It's like people are like, it's more busier than it was at Christmas.
Well, it's funny you said that because one of the nights I'm taking off, I'm going to buy the kids a refrigerator.
Oh, really?
And I was like, we need it because I told them I get it after my taxes. I'm going to buy you a new fridge. And basically, it's so funny because I was going to wait till after the tax. I'm still working on them. I'm not done yet. I have an idea what I might owe. But I was like, the tariffs, we needed to get this refrigerator now. Get it now.
Yes.
So we're doing it Thursday. We moved up a time frame for that too.
Yes, because once the inventory moves out and new inventory moves in, who knows what the pricing is going to be.
Who knows what the price is going to be.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
I bought whatever I had to buy too.
Yeah. Yeah, we ordered out again tonight too. It's we've been treating ourselves well lately. You don't know how long you'll be able to afford it.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding. People are really, I needed a new grill. I bought a new grill. I'm like, I'm buying whatever I have to buy. And, you know, oh, it says Sue won 2 precincts. Okay, somebody's got something. Why aren't we seeing this?
Are we reporting from the chat? I want to know what
Somebody's got something in
Q-Bert's
the chat.
sources are. Where are you getting a Q-Bert? Tell us. Q-Bert's pretty good though,
Q-Bert,
so I think it's
yeah,
probably
that
reliable.
Q-Bert, I think,
I
is
just want to
here.
know where you're getting a Q-Bert. Where you getting that info?
Oh,
Tell us.
here
Tell us
it
where you're
is.
getting it.
Yeah. Where's Q-Bert getting that? John
Como is getting
Camo. John
updates.
Camo's
Okay.
outside there.
All right, so we're stealing it from John's show.
Well, that's okay. Share alike.
See, at least we know where we're getting it from.
Precinct 5 and 6. Are you kidding me?
John's got some. You can
Susan
pull
won
them. That's
5
the
and
thing.
6.
If you're there, you
If
can get them
Susan won
early.
5 and 6. Susan's a blowout.
Is that good?
Susan's going to win. Susan's
Is
going to win.
What precinct
Trish
are
and I
those?
lost. Trish and I, from my understanding, Trish and I lost precinct 5. That's my precinct.
Okay.
And if Susan won precinct 5, it's over. It's
Really?
over. It's over.
Does she live in that precinct by chance?
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
No. Sue has 3 precincts. Oh my God, she has 3. Oh my God. Susan's is going to be a blowout. It's going to be a blowout.
Well, it looks like she might have won
She's
tonight,
got 5.
huh?
She's got 5. That's my precinct. Oh my God. She's going to do it. She's going to do it. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but if she got 5, it's over. Oh my God. I'm in 5. I voted for the first time. Look at that. Allison, thank you. And make it be the first of many elections you voted. Oh my God.
I love it. I was just watching Rita go. Yeah.
It was 634 to 336. Oh, look at this. 480 to 226 in 2. Oh my God. This is amazing.
Hi, and welcome to Canton Community Television. I'm Tanya Willow, and we're sitting here at Town Hall. It'll be a long night. I'm not quite sure. For waiting for when the results of today's local election comes up.
Oh,
and,
this is
Christine
so
Smith
good.
has been kind enough to come over and talk to us. Many of you probably got your information and how you voted today based on Canton's voter guide, which has been, now its 2nd anniversary.
This is the 2nd year. Yep.
Yep, very, very good. And why don't you tell us a little bit about it and how it got started?
Sure. Well, it was initially my idea.
It was your idea
to start. I have a
Yes,
friend in
yeah.
another town who did something similar. And around the same time, a few years ago, there was a lot of chatter and people were saying, I didn't know much about the candidates, or there's no way to find out, or it's only what people tell you on social media, and I don't know if that's true. And, there was no one comprehensive place to find out information about the candidates and what offices they were. There are people new to town. They don't know what the select board does, what the planning board does. And as I said, I had a friend who had put something similar together in another town. And I thought, well, let's do this here. So it was my idea to start it. But I knew that I would need help. I couldn't do this by myself. And luckily we have plenty of talented and smart, knowledgeable people in Canton who were willing to give their time. So I reached out to some folks to assist with the website, and that's how we got started.
Yeah, you have some heavy hitters helping you with this. You have Mark Porter and Cindy Thomas. I mean, people who are very experienced with what goes on in Canton
I wanted
government.
a variety. So for the website itself, it was Mark Porter, former member of the Select Board Finance Committee, Christian Merliani, who's, had been on school committee and also on planning board. And then Greg Murphy, who's another citizen like myself, he's on some committees in town and involved. And I just thought it would be tried to get a balanced variety of people who, would have something.
That's great
Information to help out with.
Now you have like definitions of,
Right back.
It's a great website. What did you give the how you can see it?
It's CantonMAVoterGuide.com.
And if you look across, one of the things I find interesting, it actually gives the jobs of each person who's running. So what does a
Right.
select board member do? What does a school
Right,
committee?
right.
Where did you get that information?
It's mostly gleaned from actually the town website, just pulling together what's on the different pages for each office. But then we also reached out to people in town hall or people who on the committees just to say, does this make sense? Is there anything we should add? Is there anything we
this
should
is so good.
leave off?
What if it encourages people, it's only the second year, to run for office though, because it makes a cleaner way of understanding exactly what your duties are?
Possibly. I mean, that really wasn't our goal was really, as I said, people who are new to Canton or who are new to town government as opposed to city government don't really know what a lot of those roles are. So, and helping them decide who they're going to vote for, that'd be helpful to know what they do, what the job entails.
An aspect that Canton Community Television is involved in is helping videotape the actual forums that take place down at the library. So far, both years it was there.
Right.
How do you formulate the questions and the format for that?
So it's interesting, and I'll give a little background. When I started this, my initial goal was the website. I thought, I don't know that I can handle forums. I don't, it was a lot to ask of people. But when the four of us initially got together and were talking about the website, we were all talking about how Blue Hill Civic it was all pre-pandemic. There used to be this candidate night and who could do it now. And we thought about different organizations, that could run it. And then we decided, well, let's just do it on our own. And luckily we reached out to the Lions Club to have a local group kind of sponsor it.
Sure.
So that's kind of how it came
What
to
do you
be.
think, Rita? Should we mute these
thought,
people until we
oh,
find
if
out
this
what's
takes
going
off,
on?
Yeah,
maybe
mute them. I'm getting messages here.
the other three were like, no,
It's
let's just do
unofficial.
it now. So that's how it started. And we knew we needed a moderator. That's how we got Cindy Thomas involved, and this year also Pam
Somebody
Berman.
says,
two
yeah,
people
go
who've
ahead
been
and mute
involved in
them.
the community. And as far as the questions, we put out a survey. There was a link.
We'll just turn her down for a second because apparently we're finding out like everybody
saying
is
she
in our
kicked
chat
ass.
saying that Susan won big.
They're saying she kicked ass. That she
Yeah.
kicked ass.
Dennis
She
is
kicked
saying
ass.
it. Everybody's
She
saying
won,
people
she
even
won the
putting votes out.
unofficial.
Yeah.
Oh, ready? Here we go. Yay! Purple pom poms for Susan.
John Conley.
Yes.
Chris Albert, you're next. You're
Yay!
next. Bye, Helena. Maybe bye, Helena.
Oh my God.
Let's
Oh
talk
my
about that because
God.
if she did win tonight, the
Oh
next
my
select
God.
board meeting could be 2 votes to 2 to 1. Because will Chris Albert recuse himself
That's
when it comes up on Helena Rafferty, her contract renewal? Because if he recuses himself, it might be a 2-2-1 vote.
Well, he should not be voting. And I notice my phone is absolutely blowing up. She's on her way to town hall. She's on her way to town hall. My phone's blowing up. She's on her way to town. Oh my God. So what she'll do is she'll go in there. I mean, I hold on. They're saying she won. She won. I'm telling you, her total was 3,230. I don't know what his was. Someone just said to me, her total was 3,000. Oh my God, Mike, this is, oh yes. This is amazing.
How do you think they're feeling at John? I heard they're having a party for John Conley tonight. How are they feeling?
Somebody told me that they have at where Chris Albert lives, they got the hall. So I don't know what kind of party they're going to have there, but it could be a goodbye John party. I mean, look, I don't wish him bad. It was just time. This town needs Susan Harrington, and she is amazing. I don't even know her. I just met her this last year, just like everybody else, and the more I learned about her, the more the work that she did to make this victory, and her team has been incredible. These people have been incredible. And, I'm just a random citizen cheering on the sidelines and doing everything I could to help spread the word to get her elected. And so many people, everyone I meet from Canton is so encouraged by Susan Harrington. And she brings hope. She brings hope for a better day, for leadership that we've been lacking. We need her leadership. And with Susan in there, I think you'll see Trish be able to be more effective. Chris Albert should not be voting on the chief's contract. That is a conflict of interest. Chris Albert is on the select board. One might say that he only wanted to get on after January 29th, 2022, because it's never been an aspiration of his, but whatever. His brother is a detective, and his brother reports to the chief. He should not have anything to do with approving that contract. And I noticed in the Five Stone reports, and I only read 100 pages of the Five Stone report. I want to read the rest of it, but when I read the first 100 pages, I kind of formed my opinion on what the rest was going to be. And it seemed to me like they were trying to, position him as if somebody who worked with the police, and, almost as if to preface, he should be voting on her contract because look what he's already done with the police. He didn't even know a year ago that part of his responsibility was overseeing the police. So, he should not be voting. And it's my understanding, in order for her to have her contract renewed, it has to be the majority. Well, if you only have 4 people voting and Trish and Susan do not vote for that contract, that is not a majority. So, look, I don't wish anybody harm, but it's time for change. Canton has been through enough. The citizens have been through enough. We are living. Everybody else is watching this, and there's so much love and support. And I can't tell you, so many people reach out to me all the time, and I really appreciate it because it really helps. It just helps us. And, we've all been in this together, and all of us together have seen what's going on in Canton, and it raises awareness maybe for your own towns. This is huge. This is the people saying we have had enough. And we have had enough. We just want what's right for our town. And I believe that we need new leadership in the police department. I believe we do. That's my opinion. And I believe we do. And I believe that Susan Harrington winning this election is the voice of the people, is the voice of Canton. And this is the Canton I love. This is the Canton I love. This is the Canton that wants to be the best that we can be. Mediocre is not Canton. And that's what we've seen in the performance of the police. Let's just face it. You could say whatever you want, but that wasn't even mediocre. The investigation that was done for John O'Keefe, it was atrocious. And for whatever reason, it was atrocious. They did not even perform to regular standards. They were so below. Anybody in the private sector would have been fired for that job. Meanwhile, we have a woman on trial, going on trial for a second time, and she's innocent. Karen Reed is factually innocent. And, Susan, the people in this town are great people. And they want what's best for this town. And voting Susan Harrington in as the next select board member is voting for what's best for this town. And I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon. And I have a funny feeling it said she won 2-1. Look at that.
It's true. That would be amazing. That's a landslide if she won 2-1.
That's a landslide. And you know what? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I knew he was going to get a good showing. And, I'm happy, they got a good showing because, he's got a lot of people. He's been doing this for 35 years. But I knew she was pulling out the vote. She did everything, knocking on 2,000 doors. Unbelievable. That is someone who's telling you they want the job. And she's done it. And I am, I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon because it gives me hope that we are turning the page. We are turning the page, and we want everybody to come together. You know, people say, oh, you know, this divided the town. The town was divided. We just didn't know it until this case came out. Then we saw that the division in the town, and we said, no, that shouldn't be. And this is everybody that lives here. It's our town, you know, and everybody that has supported us and that loves us, it's your town too. You know, we couldn't have done all of this without all of you. I can't tell you how many people reaching out saying to me, they don't even live in this town, but in their jobs, they meet people just like I do. You know, they meet people, they find out where the people live because of their jobs. And, you know, people were spreading the word for us to people that live in Canton to get out the vote. That is unbelievable camaraderie. You know, that's unbelievable because together, all of us did this. And it's just amazing. Everybody who supported Canton did this. And it is remarkable. It really is. It is
a huge number too. It's like an overwhelming majority. You can't say like that doesn't have support. You know what I mean? It wasn't even, this is not even close. This is a race that's like, and incumbents usually don't win, especially in an off-year election when there's only one race on the, I mean, there's only one select board seat up. That was just, this is big. This is huge. That if she won by these numbers we're seeing here, and apparently she has one tonight. This is so exciting. And it's going to be wild to see these select board meetings going forward to see what actually now happens with Helena Rafferty. Talk about the police audit too. Like, before you even get into that, you know, we'll look for Susan Harrington to speak here in a minute. I guess she's headed down here, hopefully.
She is. I'm sure
she is. She's headed down. We're going to get her speech up in a minute when she gets here. But, you know, this whole thing with the police audit, there's some stuff, some Twitter loose reported and showed that the head of the audit, the audit company, had been named as a fixer in a UK court for some stuff that was going on. Someone that was like a high placed prosecutor in the UK put out this whole report, and it was about the owner of whatever Six Stones Intelligence there.
Really?
They calling him a fixer, which is wild after what we saw from this police audit. What did you think about the police audit? How it was done, how it was handled? We'll talk about Bob and the actual police audit company. What's your takeaway from all that? Five Stones. Yeah, Five Stones.
So, you know, look, Five Stones, I think, you know, I think they were hired to do a job. You know, if you ask me what I saw Saturday from 2 to 5, I saw PR. That was a PR piece for the Canton Police Department, for Chief Rafferty and for John Conley. And that's all that was. And, you know, I read that, you know, like I said, I read the first 100 pages and I saw, you know, well, they should have done this and they should. Audits don't say you should have done this. Audits, you know, you're held accountable. You know, somebody doesn't take crime scene pictures and, you know, whatever. The fix was in. We never stood a chance, in my opinion. You know, they didn't want the audit. John Conley stood up, didn't want the audit. And then when we won the audit, they were shocked, but they were, you know, darn tootin' that we were going to get it. And which is why they put, you know, even before the special town meeting, when they went before the finance committee to get the wording in the article, you know, it's my recollection, although I wasn't at the meeting, you know, the proponents wanted it worded a certain way. And Randy Scollins said, oh, no, you can't do that. It's illegal or whatever. And they forced the article to be written the way it was, which gave Randy Scollins control over the panel. And so Randy had control over everything. And he set it up so that it would always be a 3-2 vote. And that's what you saw. And Dave and Kathleen, you know, went through the process. Is this it right here? No, and Dave and
The
Kathleen.
owner of the company that they say David Tinsley has been dubbed a fixer in a 2022 report from a UK independent investigation having private, undisclosed, and wiped communications and meetings with prosecutors in more than one prosecution. Did they have private communications with Canton Police?
Wow.
It's wild. And there's a
Yeah.
report. I could share the report too. And the report is written by someone who's like very high level. I looked the guy up. His name's Sir David Calvert Smith.
Yeah.
And when you look him up, you see that he was like a serious person, like a prosecutor. So like this thing's like real. Like this guy got caught up in some stuff. Wild.
Wow. Yeah, that was a PR piece. And, I think that they, they were here to do a job. And, they did just like Helena said, the federal investigation is over. We know the federal investigation isn't over. So, they said what they said and,
This is the guy who called him a fixer. This Sir
Wow.
David Calvert Smith. He's a public prosecutor, director of public prosecutions, and head of the Crown Prosecution Service. So this guy's like a high level prosecutor, and basically he called the owner of that company a fixer in that case.
Wow.
Which is like in this independent report that the government, asked that was sent to the AG basically. So
Wow.
some wild stuff that Twitter sleuths found after the fact. I wish they had found that early on in the selection process, but
Yeah. And also, I'm going to say something else too, and I don't have any concrete evidence, but I do have every reason to believe that it's true. With the audit committee, we had Dan Muse, Dr. Dan Muse, who works with the police. His son is supposed to be really good friends with Michael Proctor. And word has it that his son was on the text chain with Michael Proctor, that group text.
wow.
So he shouldn't even have been on the audit committee. And Jack Kelly was a colonel in the Mass State Police. He shouldn't have been on that committee. And so they put in these two people along with Bob, who's abusive, to bully Kathleen and Dave and anybody else that was in the audience that dared to speak out. And when I watched that audit meeting the other day, Dan Muse, his behavior is appalling. He sits there with his arms crossed, and he was there defending his son's friend, who he has probably known all his life. So, neither one of them should have been on that audit committee. So, they delivered the results. What I am happy with is they said that they found areas in which they made immediate fixes. That is wonderful. And, I have a feeling, if the mindset is, okay, we did the audit and now we're done, that's the wrong mindset. We did the audit, we learned, and now we need to do continuous process improvement. That's what the audit is all about. Continuous process improvement so that you can be the best that you can be, not so that you can say, oh, we'll do better next time. I'm tired of hearing we'll do better next time. I'm waiting to see these numbers. I'm waiting to see. They say
we're
that
waiting for Susan. I can't wait to see her speak too tonight.
Yeah,
coming up.
Yeah,
but on the police audit stuff, it's interesting in the fact that a lot of the stuff that some people noted they thought it was written by Chat GPT, by artificial intelligence. A lot of the report, they felt like that. They even asked some artificial intelligence programs if it was, and they said a lot of it was written by AI, which is interesting.
Did
It
they
felt
say
like
it was written
that
by AI? They
to
said
me.
it was written by. Oh, here comes Sean Colburn. Hold on. She won.
Oh, he's calling you?
Yes, numbers. Yes, Sean's got numbers. Yeah, I'm on Mike's show. What are the numbers?
We write them down. Just read them off. I'll write them down.
300 and what is it? 300,000. 3230 for Susan. 1,798 for Conley. Oh my God. Isn't this
3230 to 1798. I guess that's it. I mean, that's.
I'm going to put you on speaker. Can I put you on speaker? Here, you got Sean Colburn on the line. Go ahead, Sean. Say it louder.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Sean?
There's 3,230 votes for Susan Harrington, 1,798 votes for John Conley.
That is so awesome.
Is that basically the final, or are there going to be more?
That's
coming
the final. That's the final, right?
That's it.
Like I stated last summer at the select board meeting, that we would unseat them one by one. Thank you to everybody for all your help.
Oh, thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, everybody. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, everybody that supported us. Okay, good night. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. Oh, that was so good. That was so good. Oh, my God. I got to get my pom-poms again.
Your pom-pom go. We're excited. It is a good feeling tonight.
Oh, my.
I was dreading tonight. I was thinking we might not win. This is so good to find out that we're.
I really believed it because I see people all the time. I see people and I see their happiness. I see they want what's best for this town. They just want truth and they just want what's best. And nobody wants nonsense. Give us the truth, be the best you can. You make mistakes, learn from them. And, and that's back to the audit. I mean, it needs to be continuous process improvement. And, I think
I like what Peter Murphy said. A couple of things on that. I want to make one more point on the audit before I let you go again on the audit. But the other thing too, like Peter Murphy said, what you were just about to say, like they should have been doing that throughout the whole audit, is have the public outreach so they could reach as many people as they could. It felt like very surface level. The other thing I noticed is that a lot of the stuff that was reported on this show and at every single select board meeting, basically, I felt like they were probably watching the select board meetings or the show because the stuff about the phone calls, like the fact that there was 2 levels of service, that was all the stuff that was already exposed on kind of the YouTube.
Yes.
That's what they were put in the thing that they didn't go beyond what we all already uncovered. To me, it looked like a limited hangout in a way. It was like
it really was.
You're not reporting anything new. It's just you're rehashing what we've been reporting on the show with all the calls, and Kathleen talked about it so many times. You talked about it so many times about the 2 levels of service of the private cell phones, and that was like basically the meat of the audit.
Yeah, and I think that Matt, I think, was the guy who did a lot of the speaking. And, he said, listen, we did what you asked us to do. And I think he did. I think he did do what we asked them to do. And I think that they, look, you don't take an audit on November 18th for the police department that has the issues that we have seen exposed with this police department. You don't start an audit on November 18th. And then in their report, they said they ended it March 31st or March 30th. And 2 days later, you put out a 200-page report. You don't do that.
GPT.
You know what I mean? Yeah, ChatGPT, right? Because that's the only way you can do it. Because you can't, you end the audit, then you take another couple of weeks to write the report. You can be writing it all along. But, let's just say that's the holidays. Those are the busiest holiday months, November. So they started the week of Thanksgiving and all through, November and December. And then January, February, and March, that's 3 months. It was 90 days. And there's no way that was enough time to do the audit. So it was like a high level audit. I do think that they did. I do think that there were good things that happened, but I think it was a PR piece all along. And I think that, they didn't want us to have the audit. And when we won the audit, let's face it, if they were in agreement with us with the audit, they never would have put Bob in charge to abuse the people in this community. And the way and people would say, Bob doesn't act that way in other meetings. Okay, then why is he acting that way now? Because it was a bully. He was a bully to beat down people, and it didn't work. And, you know,
I love David. David handled that last
oh,
meeting when he said, "You just vote for me this time, just like you did last
he
time,
did.
Bob." I
Oh
love
my,
when he said that. It was just like,
oh,
oh,
he's
David was
so
so
good.
good. David, I just gotta say, David, hats
Yeah,
off to you
me
all the
too.
way
I
through,
gotta,
and
I gotta
Kathleen
give
too.
David a bump up cheer to David. Yeah.
Yeah, David deserves it. David is awesome.
He really does. And, you know, I will say Kathleen too. I mean, she, you know, she has had the health issues and everything. And, but David, he really,
He's a
he took,
ferocious.
he
Yeah.
really did. He really, and he, David is amazing. And Canton is blessed to have David Clow, blessed to have David Clow. And David is part of the solution. And, you know, everybody that wants a better town is part of the solution. And those that don't, it's okay, but just don't mess it up for those that do. You know, we want to be better than what we are right now. And, you know, we can be, but David is unbelievable. And then, so here's another, you know, so they put Bob, then they made us go to that fake election. And then everything they did was timed for what worked for them. There was no way that this was going to get done in that time frame. And then as soon as they signed the contract, everything went into a black hole. Well, the whole purpose of the audit was to improve trust with the police force and improve relationships. And what they did, and you know, increase transparency.
Hi, and welcome to Town Hall. A lot of activity is here. The room is starting to fill up, kind of get feeling buzz in the room.
So good.
And so Lisa Lopez is here with us. If you
Lisa.
recall, Lisa and I had a conversation with Jen Wexler about moving the vote.
Yes.
And we had a wonderful debate. I was concerned about, as you know, I had been for it and then kind of against it, and we debated that. But we don't know this officially, but it seems like perhaps you folks have prevailed the day. Is that kind of what it seems like?
The numbers are looking very, very positive.
That's great.
For
That's
that.
great. Outside the precinct. So what do you think this will bring if it does happen?
Well, first I want to emphasize that this is an important step in determining the will of the voters. And I think when all the counts are in, it's going to be clear that the will of the voters overwhelmingly is that they want it to be easier to participate in the local election. They've really become, frankly,
voting?
excited about the
Voted,
opportunity to
yeah.
participate in the local
Yes.
election. And having them both at the same time in a synchronized way makes sense to so many people. If I had $1 for every time I collected a signature and somebody told me that, you know, I have a nice pad here. What is it going to accomplish? It's the first step in the process going forward to prepare for this good government reform. And it wasn't Jen Wexler and I and Bruce Ward 10 years ago that thought this up. This has long been for decades the subject of scholars, political scientists, social scientists, and good government reformers who want to make easier for more people to participate in local government elections. But the next step is that town meeting has got to recognize, hopefully, the will of the voters and then authorize the select board to file a home rule petition. And then we'll begin the work, ideally, to work with a number of stakeholders. Critical among them is the town clerk's office, because first and foremost is running a good, safe, accurate election in every respect. And so they are front and center in helping to plan and organize what has to happen in order to make that a reality going forward with this change, assuming that the legislature approves the Canton Home Rule petition. We would hope to include in that home rule petition the opportunity to ask for a single ballot in even year elections.
Yes.
There will
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
usually be a single
Yes,
ballot
the-
that includes local candidates in odd year elections, but in even year elections, when there are state and federal candidates on the ballot too, or national candidates.
Sure.
Ideally, we'd like to have a single ballot that includes our local candidates, just like when the Regional Hill.
just to let everyone know, this is a former select board member, Lisa Lopez, who I believe is on the planning board or one of the zoning boards.
Yes.
She lost to Chris Albert, which was a travesty because she's such a great select board member and like a lawyer. She's very accomplished, very well spoken, really for the town, very smart. I hope she runs against Chris Albert next time. I would love to see that rematch.
Yep.
But what she's talking about right now is something you supported, Rita, which was changing these town voting days and
Yes.
making it that you vote for these seats at the same time you vote for like governor or president. When you vote, get more voters out into the town elections when the big numbers come out of voters, which is the general elections for like president and governor, to have town elections then, which it seems like that won tonight too. You must be happy about that too, right, Rita?
Oh my God, yes, yes. It's so easy to forget. It's so, you're not thinking about voting in the spring. You're just not thinking about it. And even when you're thinking about it, then the day comes and you get caught up in stuff and you just forget. So many people want to vote and then forget. And now, so what happened is it sounds like the voters passed, which I was collecting signatures for that. I knew that was going to be a runaway. I knew people wanted
This is a huge night. I mean, this is a huge night for Canton,
huge.
for the non-townies, just for,
Yes.
because the townie, the cartel, they wanted low turnout elections. They wanted the spring elections. That's when they could win. They don't want a bunch of voters engaged and activated. And tonight, that's what happened. The voters got engaged and activated. They defeated a long-time incumbent. Over like, wow, how many years was he there? 30 years? How many years?
36 years. He wanted 3 more years. And that was just a select board.
You don't see this often, folks, that a guy after 36 years doesn't win his race. How often do you see that?
Right.
After 36 years, you'd think he would never lose.
Right.
Tonight, John Conley lost. This is amazing.
And I'm going to say, they got their way on the audit, but we won the election.
Yeah, he did.
They Randy got Bob and then Bob abused people and they put everybody through whatever. And then they put it in the black hole. And then they put out the beautiful PR piece that says everything is beautiful, when it's not, so the only people they fooled were themselves. And now the people spoke and the people said, no more. No more. Homie, don't play this game no more. We're voting. We're voting. We're using our voices.
Yeah. Goodbye, John Conley. We got some comments and questions here. Super chats. Britt Smith Ellis fan. What? Says, is Rita a DMX fan?
Who's DMX? I guess I'm bad. I don't know.
I love DMX.
What's DMX? I probably know the music.
Rita's gonna get you.
What? Oh, is that what the song is?
Yeah, I think X is gonna give it to you. Yeah, that's it. X is gonna give it to you. Rita's gonna give it to you.
Yeah. This is such a joy. I know it says Rita won't sleep tonight. I'm not gonna. Oh, and then someone says I'm so annoying. Okay, I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
It's amazing.
The people,
I have to read this one. Ask Bob, threw down $50. Thank you so much. He says, Mike, no one did more to make the victory possible than you. You are the best friend of Canton and have done more to expose the corruption than anyone. Me and my fellow Canton citizens say we love Mike Crawford. Sue's our first step back. Oh, thank you. I think it's like the second or third, actually, because that last election when Rita defeated an incumbent, by the way.
He was a chairman.
Incumbents lost in that last election, or actually, one incumbent lost. But even the one who won really didn't win. He wasn't the top vote getter. Like a challenger beat him. So I mean, it was just that guy right there. So I think we're in the second or third. But I really appreciate the comment, and I don't think I'm the only one. I don't think I'm the most important either. I think Rita. I think you got Aiden Carney. I think you got so many of the women who were showed up. David, like we were talking about tonight, David Cloud, Kathleen, John Como, so many. I can go on and on. Boston Mike. There's a lot of people out there that have done a lot.
But I have to amplify that, Mike. I agree with
Sweetie.
Bob. You have been such a good friend to Canton. You have been such a good friend. You have carried these select board meetings, and these select board meetings help to get the word out, not only for Karen Reed, but also for all of us, taking a look at what our town governments are doing, and everybody, we all learned together, and we all realized what we have to do. We have to participate in order to make things better. And I can't thank you enough, Mike, because I know for at least a year and a half, or since the summer of 2023, fall of 2023, you have been covering these meetings every single month, every 2 weeks. And without that coverage, without that support, I don't know that we'd be here right now, because people on this show reach out to me all the time telling me they see people, they're telling them to vote. It was a collaborative effort. This was everybody who supports and loves Canton. Everybody who supports us relishes in this victory. And Mike, you have been phenomenal. So I appreciate you so much. I love you to pieces. I really do. I really appreciate you.
Despite of all those great things I did, I didn't show somebody super chat.
You didn't? What did you do? You
Let me find it. There it is.
is.
Yeah. I think I did share it. I just didn't read it. Now I got to read it. Plot twist pending.
Oh.
Conley is open to network on LinkedIn right now. That is a good one. That's.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's live on LinkedIn right now. He's like, "Hey, got any openings?"
It's
He
gonna
could
be
probably go over to that golf
for
place he
him.
talks about. He talks. What's that golf place? Top Golf.
Top Golf. Yeah.
I'm sure they'd hire him.
Yeah.
He's their ambassador or something.
Exactly. This is just, I'm just like so happy. I'm just so happy.
This is exciting. Let's listen to see what Lisa says. I feel bad cutting Lisa off. I really like her. Do you think she'll run again for select board? Any chance you think?
I don't know. I think that I really don't know Lisa, but I love her. And, I just know that she's
done
done wonderful.
I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Forcing
done
us
a
to do
lot
it
for this
because
town.
it gave us.
I don't know what she's saying. She's very
Funny,
intelligent.
the more we get into the night, the worse the feed gets here with the Canton community. I think they have so many people waiting to see Susan tonight. Everyone's logged on to it.
Exciting, and I'm looking forward to being educated on the process going forward.
Thank
It'll
you.
be very fun.
Thank you very much.
All right. Easy. I don't know if Tracy has some numbers for us that you'd like to announce, Tracy.
Let's get these numbers.
Oh, that one precinct's always fun. It's official. Well, not super official, but the town clerk will announce one precinct, so we'll hear that now.
This is amazing.
There, see what I'm saying? It starts freezing up, and I tried it on my cell phone to see
I'll
if
try
there
to
was
put my
different.
TV. I'll put my TV
It was
back.
doing the same exact thing.
Let me get my TV on, because my TV
It
has
doesn't-
it.
The
Oh,
TV's
yeah.
not going to help. I mean, unless you want to watch it yourself, but
No, I'm just, I can see what you're saying. She's reading the numbers.
yeah,
Hold on.
I want to see
Oh,
Susan.
She says Board of Assessors.
Of course, it crashes right when it gets good. Like it's whatever it's tuning in right now.
She's reading school committee, so she must have read select board already. I want to hear the vote for the.
271.
Oh, there you go.
Amanda F. Ryder, 293. For school committee, that was the 1-year term to fill the vacancy. Sonia Rose Grods, 314. For planning board, David McCarthy, 276. For Hamilton Soros Rodriguez, 130. For library trustees, Nancy Connery, 305. Margaret Mead, 288. Emily Prago, 288. For the non-binding ballot question, yes, 325, no, 105.
Wow.
And that's the only precinct that's in at the moment.
Oh, that's one precinct.
Okay.
Because those numbers were low. But
Yeah.
the move the vote made it. The move the vote made it.
Wow.
Wow.
Is that the non-binding one? Is that non-binding or is
yes.
it?
So what happens, my understanding is what happens is, so now that the select board, squashed it, didn't support it. So we had to go out and get over 2,000 signatures, or the committee did, whoever the team was. And I supported that effort. And they got over 2,400 signatures. And that was so much fun. I have to tell you, Mike, collecting signatures, people think, oh, collecting signatures. It was a blast. I met so many people. I don't even know who these people are, I met so many people, and so many people were on board with it. It was just a great way to meet people. And, so that vote, people have spoken, and this is what they want to do. And I know people in the town clerk's office, didn't support it. They think it's more work. It doesn't have to be more work. You can automate. In the modernization committee that they're working on right now, they're talking about modernizing, things that we're doing. Well, technology needs to be modernized. And so you do more with less. You get technology to do it for you. It doesn't mean you have to get people to do it. And so look, this is what's good for the community. So how to achieve this? We'll get it done. So now it has to go to the select board. It has to go to town meeting, and town meeting has to vote it. And then it goes to the select board. But if the people voted it and the select board and the town meeting approves it, I don't see how the select board doesn't. And when you now have Trish and Sue on the board, it's going to be hard not to approve that. It's going to be very hard.
Especially if it's 2-1, like if it's like a 2-1 vote or anything big, it's insane to go against your own voters.
That's right. And next year, JR is up for re-election, and so is Chris Albert.
I heard, I think from Como, actually, that JR is not likely to run for re-election. I wonder if Albert will. I wonder if either of those. What do you think? You think either of them will run for re-election?
I heard that JR likes to do kind of what I do on the other side of the table. He was more, I heard that he felt he was, more productive on the other side of the table.
Which one?
JR. I like JR very much.
I do too.
I think he's a good human being. And I know he's been in this town. He's a townie. And I think he's a very good human being. And that's what we need, and, so I hope that he runs again. But if he doesn't, I understand why he doesn't. Chris Albert, I don't think Chris Albert will run again. But, I think he only ran so that he could be the person to oversee the police department, be one of those people while his family was under investigation. That's just my opinion. And, by this time next year, when he runs, hopefully we're not looking at trial 3. So, I don't think that he won't make it. That's for sure. Chris Albert will never get in. So,
I think, even Chris Albert, as hard-headed as he is, I think he even recognizes after tonight's defeat, if it's 3,230 to 1,700, that's almost 2-1. That's 32 to 18. That's not 2-1, but it's pretty damn close.
Let me tell you something. I got more votes than John Conley. My votes, I believe, were 2,600. I got more votes than John Conley. And the number that Susan got, I think, is very close, if not more, than what Trish Boyden got. I think those numbers are, I could easily look them up right now. Those numbers are right in line. And I got more than John Conley. As a matter of fact, Tom Theodore got more than John Conley.
Wow.
Yep. And Tom Theodore was the chairman.
Yep.
So John Conley did not do well at all.
No, he did not.
He did not do well at all.
His debate was atrocious.
Atrocious. And he lied. And he even lied about something that happened with me. He said that a homeowner who wasn't friendly with the police, I'm friendly with the police. I just like people to do their jobs correctly, competently, and he said that, a homeowner that wasn't friendly with the police, the house was going to burn down, and the police came and saved the house from burning down. And those aren't my words. Those are the homeowner's words. Well, I'm the homeowner. I know what my words were. My house wasn't on fire. My girl was on fire. And I said that they came and they put it out, and I was glad, because my concern is that it could have reached the house, but it was 75 feet away from the house. It wasn't going to hit the house. But, he misrepresented that. He misrepresented, he misrepresents a lot. And he's not the only one. And people think that, just because you say something, it makes it true. It doesn't. The truth is always there. So, Canton, this is a new day for Canton. April 8th, 2025. This is the day Canton was born again.
Funny, because it feels like it's like you've been pushing. All the
Yes.
citizens have been pushing for 2+ years. And you
Yes.
thought like that last election wasn't like a complete win. It wasn't a complete loss. It was like, all right, we're getting somewhere, but we're not all the way there. The police audit, obviously, just even winning that campaign was a big win. So there have been several wins here. But this tonight feels even more so. It feels like so lopsided and so like this is, and plus the balance, like we've been talking about, of the select board. Now it's 2-3 or 2-2.
That's right. That's
on
right.
a lot of nights, it could be 2-2, especially if you have
right.
if the fifth vote is Chris Albert and he follows the rules and he actually recuses himself from the Chief Rafferty, then it might even be 3-1. Chief Rafferty doesn't get her renewal. It might be 2-2. Either way, Chief Rafferty's probably not getting renewed. It looks like Chief Rafferty, if I, to speak, I know, and we know Conley, it seems like he's out right now, but Chief Rafferty, she better get a resume together. Like she's gone. I'm pretty sure she's gone now. It's like, it seems like that, right?
I think somebody said that technically she could get her old job back. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
One thing that Matt from Five Stones told me, I spoke to him briefly after the meeting. I said, why did Rafferty give Kevin Albert 3 months off? That seemed like ridiculous to me. And he said that it was because of the union. And they went outside for the internal affairs investigation, and that's how long it took between the union and that. Look, she has not led this town. She has not. And I would be embarrassed if my team ever performed the way it was written in that audit. That police audit report, in my opinion, is gold for Karen's lawyers. It says right there, they didn't take pictures of the crime scene. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. They didn't do their jobs. So if they didn't do their jobs, how can you hold somebody accountable, even though we know she's innocent, for, not whatever, it's just, I don't know. It's time for change. And she spent a lot of time in this town, and I know people appreciate whatever, but it's time for change. And the performance that we've had is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It would be unacceptable in the private sector. So why is it acceptable in the municipal side of the house? It shouldn't be. So, we've made it clear. And, the next step will be her contract. And that is going to be interesting. And Mike Lofgren, he has decisions to make. Is he going to continue to just be a puppet in that seat? Or is he going to lead? And, he just saw what happened to John Conley. That should shock all of them. That should be a wake-up call that business as usual is not going to cut it anymore. We're better than that. And we need to be better than that. So I'm just...
point.
Yeah,
That's a big point. Now the power is not so secure, and the power in the hands of just, they have another police audit, it would happen a lot differently this time. You know what I mean? There wouldn't be a Bob McCarthy there.
No,
So,
I wish we got Larry Smith from Sturm. He would have been awesome. But it's just not the way it went. But you know what? It wasn't a waste. It was not a waste. People feel, and look, I'm disappointed, right? But we were expecting to get something better than what it was a PR piece. But we learned from it. you know, and my hope is that we will continue to learn from it, and we will continue to move forward for continuous process improvement. That's what they have to do. They just can't say, okay, if we feel like doing our job today, we do it. And if we don't feel like doing our job tomorrow, that's okay, because nobody's going to hold me accountable. Chief Rafferty has held nobody accountable, not even herself. Not even herself. She hits that man in Rentham and doesn't even report it for 6 weeks, the town, the select board, you know, and now they're blaming Charlie Duty for everything. Why? Because it was election time. So here we are voting on select board, and all of a sudden the select board isn't responsible for the police chief. It's Charlie Duty, because his job is not, wasn't up on the ballot, you know? So it's just, it's slanting the truth to get what you want, and enough already. It's time for change, and it's time for Chief Rafferty. It's time for change. It's time for change, and I think this is how you save the good people that are in the Canton Police Force, because anytime you have a leader who's not doing their job, and it impacts morale, you know, a change has to be done, or you're going to lose your team. What you're going to lose are the good people, because when you don't hold your team accountable, the good people go, I'm out of here. And, you know, Peter Murphy said somebody else left the other day. You know, we lost Scott Brown, who was a 3rd generation police officer, the dog officer, and he went to Mansfield, and I think somebody else just left. We are going to lose our good officers if we don't straighten out the leadership. And, you know, I heard there's the deputy chief, Patty, is fabulous. I don't know her. I wouldn't know her if I saw her. But if she's fabulous, awesome. You know, we want the good people. We just want the people that are not doing their jobs. It's time to either do your job or find another one.
Now, this comment here that says, John Como said Rafferty will still be renewed. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think so. Well, you know,
depends if Chris Albert recuses himself, I suppose,
yeah,
right?
The way I read the Five Stones report, why you know, I have to go back and look at the report, but they were almost like puffing Chris Albert's position. You know, he worked with the police and he did this, and I go, oh, what they're going to do here is they're going to make it, oh, Chris has been doing this all along, so of course he should be able to vote on her contract. Oh, no, 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 no. And I think that this community will be in an uproar if Chris Albert is allowed to vote on that contract, because that is a conflict of interest, a huge, huge conflict of interest. His brother reports to her, and that he should have nothing to do with that contract. Nothing.
And he's also a witness in a murder case,
right.
Apparently. They call it a
right.
murder case.
That's right.
You know, so in the town where the police
and that's
chief,
a conflict.
That's also a conflict. That's a conflict. So,
of course, if you listen to them, the federal investigation is over. Wink, wink. It is not. You know, and you know, the audit made them look like, you know, they were Girl Scouts. So, you know, but that's not the truth. You know, that's not the truth. You can say whatever you want, but the truth will always rise and come out. Somebody said he recused himself last time. That's enough to stop him from this time. You know, you're right. He did, Nikki. He did, Nikki. And he did. So that would be, you know, how do you do it then? And now you're saying you can't. You're absolutely right. And I think it is, I don't think 2-2 is going to hit her across the line. I don't. And even, you know, the select board, I mean, they do have the ability to say, you know, do they go month to month? Do they go give her another year?
I could almost see them going 6 months to a year to say, you know, we're gonna start the search for a new police chief, and we're gonna extend you just because you're, you know,
right.
You're here, and if you want to keep your job, you could go back to being a lieutenant or, you know, deputy, whatever her rank was before that. That's probably what she would end up being if she stayed there. But I have a feeling she'd probably want to try to be a chief somewhere else. I mean, that's usually, most people don't want to step down. So it'd be interesting. I mean, anything could happen here, but I don't think anybody knows. I think that this is for the first time, this kind of some who knows what could happen here.
This is
That's
this
what it
is
feels like to me. For the
yep.
first time, the power, you don't know, 2-2, 2-3, 3-2.
And you know
It's a
who?
lot closer than it was. It was always 4-1 before, right? Or 5-0. I mean,
Yeah, it was
that's where
5-0.
we started
It
at
was
5-0. Now we
it
got
was
2 women on the board. And
now you
the
got
other thing
2
about
women.
women, the women
That's
we
right.
have on this board, especially with Susan, they're
Oh,
gonna be able to put on the charm with these guys too,
right,
even though they bust their balls a little bit. You know what I mean?
right.
Like you can, it's
Susan is
personality comes into play here. So
right.
this is going to be the power dynamics going to change here,
Oh,
especially when you remove John Conley. John
right.
Conley's had that iron fist for so long.
He
It's gonna
has.
feel like, I don't know,
Yes.
like it's like when your favorite radio station after 35 years is gone. Like
Ye
that void. And things are just so different, So that's what's going to be like on this next select board meeting. It's going
Yep.
to be a lot different for everybody in the town because this
I
guy's been there for 36 years. It's amazing. How often do you see a guy run for 36 years? He never loses. And we're watching him tonight. He lost. I wonder, I mean, I would think he would show up and give some type of speech and say, it's been a pleasure to serve the community for 36 years. But I have a feeling he's not going to show up tonight. I don't know. Do you
No, he
think he'll
won't show
show
up.
up? Do they ever leave?
Oh,
Do
no.
they ever give concession speeches at these things?
I don't know. I don't know. I think probably not. I think that this is a big blow to him. This is a huge
Ah,
blow to him. I think, I don't think he ever thought he had it in the bag. And I think that's why in his desperation, he just made up stuff. That's what I saw. And I saw a desperate man, trying to keep his job. And he had 2 years to do right by the people of Canton. And he chose not to. And these are the consequences. And, and what I love is that Michael Morrissey and him are really good friends. Michael Morrissey's office is in Canton, right?
oh, yes.
And, it's all this closeness. And Michael Morrissey should be quaking in his boots.
Pretty close to Top Golf.
Yes.
I
Oh, yeah.
noticed that because it's off the highway. I mean, the first thing you see when you get off the highway is Top Golf, and then right
Yeah,
after that is the district attorney's office. Because
right.
I pulled in the right there when I was supposed to go left somewhere where I was trying to go to the police station, and I got lost.
Oh, yes, that's where it
I ended
is.
up at the DA's office. I was like, "Holy shit, I'm here! I didn't even mean to go here." So
I'm
it's
not that
funny,
far from there. It's like
right? Yeah,
the
you're
woods.
right over there. That's where you
Yeah,
are?
right over there, right off that street. And Michael Morrissey, he should be quaking in his boots because this is what's going to happen to you next, buddy. This Norfolk County is coming for you.
That's
We're
right.
coming for you next.
Judah Perkins is coming for you. She's been
Yes.
campaigning too. I saw her today.
Did
She's been
you?
campaigning at some town votes and different areas this week. So
I
she's
met
still working it.
Yes, I met somebody this week who was a state rep. A great guy, and he connected me with her. And I have to reach out to her, but this election was too important.
She's phenomenal. I've had
Yes.
her on the show once now. I'm gonna have her back. She's great. She's really
I've
nice, smart, intelligent, knows what's going on.
Yeah, I saw her on your show that just at one time or
Yeah.
whatever, and I'm really excited
Mega
about her.
friends.
And I'm really excited to see her campaign go and see her do the same thing that Susan Harrington just did. Susan Harrington and her team. It was a whole team of people that did this, and I really want to see DeJuna do it too, and that's exciting. That's exciting. So it's just great. It's just really great. This is a celebration, Mike. This is a celebration for everybody. And this is people taking back the power. This is people taking back the power. And, good things are going to happen. Good things are going to happen. And people need to come together. And this is the whole town, It's been divided, but it was always divided. We just didn't know it. And now we know it. So let's get together. You know, we all live here. Let's be the best we can be. Let's make it a good journey.
Excellent. We're waiting for Susan Harrington to come. Apparently she's there because I'm hearing that she's talking to John Como right now.
Oh, is she really?
Como jumped in front of everybody else at home waiting. He had to get his exclusive.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
this
doing
guy.
his mobile live stream.
Yeah, he's doing his mobile. He had to jump in front of like everyone at home watching
Did he?
on cable television. You can wait. We're waiting. Waiting for John to get done.
Yeah. Somebody goes, John Conley's going to become a full-time McGalbert sitting on the D&E bench.
He's going to be on that bench.
Yeah, he's going to be on that bench with what's his name?
Maybe he can clean the cigarette butts that what's his name? Farris throws in the ground over there.
Really? He
You didn't
throws
see
on the
him
ground.
He's a little bug, Farris.
Yeah, I only met him once. He was
You know me. I'm a big smoker.
Oh,
I'm
are
like
you?
Bill Hicks. I am, unfortunately.
Cigarettes?
Like cannabis. Yeah, everything. I
Cannabis.
smoke
Cannabis is okay.
but I never let her. I'd never throw it on the ground. Come on.
Yeah, right.
You know, even if you don't have an ashtray, you grab a plastic bag, put it in there, put it in your pocket. Like,
Right.
don't litter those things on the ground. That's gross. You're 50
Exactly.
plus years old. Come on.
Right. No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Oh my God. So
That bugs me. That bugs me that they know Mike knows cigarettes. I know, Mama. I'm sorry. Sorry, I have problems.
Look at this. I live 1,000 miles away, and I'm so happy for the great people. This is amazing. This is amazing.
It is.
It really is amazing. It's a huge victory. And, and even like last year when I lost by, I think it was like 181 votes. Trish and I together increased voter turnout 50%.
Right.
That was a victory.
This time too. This
Right.
time again, it shows that people are engaged. They're into these campaigns.
That's right. That's right.
I love this one. Mindy says, "Put the butts in a solo cup, people."
Yeah.
Right. Oh, how much is a plastic
Exactly.
baggie?
Exactly.
Like, that's what I have doggy bags for. Besides, the poop I scoop. But if there's no ashtray, I just throw it in a little bag. Tie it up, put it in the pocket. Throw it in the trash later. Like, you don't need to throw your little butts on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're gonna be so gross to have a cigarette, the least you can do is take it with you.
Exactly.
Be responsible, Jim Farris.
Are you smoking? You're not smoking cigarettes. It's cannabis for you, right, Mike?
I no comment.
Oh, not cigarettes, Mike.
I don't want my mother to find out. I quit smoking, Mom. I got
Mike,
a problem.
We need you. At
least it's not like crack or whatever, or heroin,
Yeah, this is true.
I got some addictions. I got coffee, I got cigarettes, and I got my weed. It's true.
Oh, yeah. I got the coffee.
Yeah.
Phil's got the weed. That's my fiance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got a medical license. So
my cannabis is actually medical.
Yeah,
There's no medical tobacco. I've been on tobacco. I used to chew like crazy. It's just tobacco's really bad.
Yeah, because they
get us athletes with the chewing, and then next thing you know, you're doing you're doing the dots. Same thing. The same.
Really?
Oh, it's all awful.
Yeah, chewing.
But I love it. I'm like Bill Hicks. I don't quit things. I'm not a quitter.
Yeah.
He ended up dead at like 36 from pancreas cancer. He didn't quit though.
Who got pancreas cancer? 36?
Bill Hicks, one of the best comedians ever.
Really?
He had all these things that he hated people who used to smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get really nasty.
Yeah.
He's not a quitter. And then he ended up dying of cancer.
Oh my God.
At a young age.
Yeah.
If he's not Alex Jones. I always wonder if Bill Hicks is an Alex Jones. There's a good conspiracy about that.
Yeah.
Funny. Here we go. We got something going on. What's going on here?
Hi, and welcome to Canton Community Television. I'm Tanya Willow, and we're still at Town Hall. There's a lot of buzz going on in this room and around us. And so we haven't had the official results yet, but as you know, people go up to the precincts and they they write their numbers down, and
Oh, that's
according
what
to that non-official vote, so to speak, or
Right.
count,
The unofficial.
the unofficial, you've prevailed, Dave, for the planning board. So congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
If those numbers
Unofficially,
hold, if those numbers
unofficially,
hold, and they seem like they might,
I appreciate that.
they're very,
Thank you.
very good. How did you feel about this campaign and being challenged? Is it more, in a way, interesting to be challenged, or is it, would you rather not?
No, I mean, the honest answer is, the real honest answer is, I think campaigns are very beneficial.
Yes.
I appeared at forums, I did all of that, but I didn't run an official campaign. I didn't open a campaign account.
Mhm.
I took that chance.
I hear that.
And that's not necessarily good,
Mhm.
but that's what I chose to do.
What I like when when there is somebody running, I think it gives a chance. You can sit on a board for a long time and nobody knows really necessarily where you stand on some things. And so it's
Yeah.
kind of nice to be able to talk about that in a forum. Did you find that to be the case?
I did, but you're not watching the planning board meetings because everyone knows my opinions.
Yeah, I know, I understand.
I'm not afraid to voice opinions and thoughts on things,
Sure,
but I
it's very
understand.
granular though, you know.
100%.
Yes,
There was a couple of forum questions where I literally joked and said, that has nothing to do with the planning board, but they still asked the question.
Sure, yeah.
So I
yeah.
understand that because it's your curiosity of what people stand, what they're thinking.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So planning board had a resignation.
We did. So
Yep.
we have an open seat that we will likely fill through a select board and planning board meet and make a decision based on the applications that we have until the next election. Even if we had done it before, it would not have been this election. It was too late.
Yeah.
So that person will sit for 1 year. And if I remember correctly, probably that means 3.5 years. They'll run for a 3.5 year term.
You know, after all these years, I don't know that process per se. So do you vote for it as a group for the names in front of you? How does that
That's
work?
a great question. I'm quite sure that it is us collectively voting together. In the past, it may not have been that always that way.
Okay.
It may have just been saying planning board says this and the select board says this, and that's what happens. But I believe the written says that we appear with them
Mhm.
at a select board meeting, when they call it, and we do it then.
Do they have the ultimate say?
No, because
Oh, yeah.
well, they'll have 5 members and we'll have 4, so it could be that they have ultimate, but
I see.
it's a vote.
Oh, so everybody's vote is equivalent.
Absolutely, yeah,
The executive
absolutely, yeah.
doesn't necessarily have a
Correct.
power over that.
Correct.
That's very, very interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what do you think of this new era, the new changes that may be coming in place, new person? How does that affect a board when someone new comes on? Are they in a learning curve, or how does that usually happen?
That's a great question. I think one of the things that has happened in the last few years in the town is that tomorrow there's a meeting for newly elected people so that they can go to that and learn. I haven't attended one, but I'm going to attend tomorrow's if I win.
Yeah.
And at that, I'm assuming they'll go over some of the roles of government, some of the committee stuff that you sit on.
I'm gonna ask you, Rita, who is this? I have no idea who this
I
is.
think it's Dave McCarthy, and he won planning board.
Okay.
And I believe he is partner to someone else who is on one of the other committees, very active in the town.
So I think that's really helpful. That was not done, to my best of my knowledge, 7-8 years ago. So I think the town has made some changes that demonstrate a commitment for elected officials or appointed officials to hold their responsibilities.
That's fantastic. I
Yeah.
think that's a very good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
It's great. And you're always learning, even if you serve on a board, you're
Oh,
always in a
100%,
state of
100%,
learning.
100%.
Right.
We often have attorneys come to us and they've got an angle they're gaming for,
Sure.
for their client. And we're trying to figure out the best way to make it happen.
Yeah.
I still am one of the ones, and several of the other members feel the same, like less variance is the better.
Mhm.
Like just, no, you can't do that. It's
Right,
supposed
right.
to be financial need, and it's often just they don't like it.
And so, no, it's understandable.
Yeah.
How do you guard against that as far as if you have someone who's very articulate, a good attorney, and at the same time kind of defending the town's best interest in the long term?
Great question. Well, the planning board has an outside engineer, and for years we had an outside a third party. And today we have the town engineer who is a consultant to us. So we meet with the town engineer regularly on development projects that are coming forward. So in this case, it's a gentleman, but he or she could tell us, like, we don't like this, we don't like that, so that within not just code, but because we're not paying attention, I hate to say it this way, but to some of the sewer, water lines, et
Right.
cetera. That's not our specialty.
Sure.
Kind of getting bored by this, honestly.
Yeah.
We all want to see Susan Harrington.
I
We're
know,
we're not
I
into
know.
the planning board reach. We don't even know this guy's.
Yeah.
This is a question that came in from Jassie's mom. Are the select board members paid?
Not
They
really.
are not.
They get like $100 a month,
Yeah.
which is, it's like a stipend or whatever. It's nothing. And they do a lot. They put a lot of time in. There's a lot of time in, it's not, it is work. It is work. Well, I don't know why we don't pay them more. I really don't. I really
It's
don't.
just 6 years.
But
Sorry about that.
no, that's okay.
I'm just trying to get it back on without the volume. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I want to make sure we're not missing everything. When Susan actually does come up, right?
Oh, I can't wait to see Susan come up. She is going to be phenomenal. She really is. And the last select board meeting, I told John, I hoped it was the last time that I saw him on the select board. And as a friggin' random citizen, I feel the friggin' random citizens in Canton have been liberated. We have been liberated. And, we are no longer second-class citizens.
You think he'll continue to go to select board meetings? What do you think?
Oh, God, no. Oh, God,
Yeah,
no.
no, he's done.
He's done. He's done. He's done. He's going to have to find something else to do.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be such a big void in his life because, 36 years of anything. And all of a sudden it's gone. I just get
right.
I couldn't deal when I was a young man, like losing my wrestling when I knew I was too injured, too many surgeries, couldn't afford it anymore. My wrestling, college wrestling was over. That was like such a bummer. I mean, I can't imagine what 36 years if I had been wrestling for 36 years and then it stopped. It's just got to be something. Anything for 36 years and then it ends. That's the toughest part about life too, is like at a certain point, if you grow, hopefully you grow old enough, but if you do, you start losing shit. You lose shit. That's the hardest part about growing old.
He grew up with these people, right? And he grew up with the town, right? He went to school with these, and I say these people, they're my neighbors, we're all citizens, but I've come to realize, just like when you're in an industry, you work in an industry, people cross the industry. Well, the same is true for municipal. And when you are in the town and you're an elected official, you get to know the town employees, whether it's the town or the city or whatever, and you become really close. And I get it. It's too close. It's too close because you can no longer be impartial. And, and I think that's what happened. And we saw him dig in these last 2 years. And, that vision of him standing up, protesting the vote and making the people in the special town meeting 2 years ago, in November of 2023, raise our hands a second and a third time because he contested the vote and he knew that we were in hostile conditions. And he was part of the hostile conditions and he supported the hostile conditions. And people knew that in order to get that audit, they had to raise their hand when people were looking around that room to take note of who had their hand up in support of that audit. And he put us in harm's way. And, he made it very clear, especially in the forum, that the townspeople, and the people that he knew were his friends and family. And I get it. I understand it. But when you're a select board, you represent all the people. And if you don't represent all the people, then you need to step aside. And if you don't step aside, we're going to push you. And that's what we just did.
Now he's a random citizen, just like you said. I mean,
yes. Now
a random citizen now.
That's right. And the random citizens no more. We are the citizens. And it just feels so good. And I wish Susan would come up there. I wish she would.
I know, we're waiting. We're waiting. Come on, Susan.
God.
Let me ask you a question that keeps coming up in the chat for you, Rita.
Yeah.
You know what the question is? Have you seen it tonight?
Yeah. Am I going to be at the standouts?
Nope.
Am I going to run
Nope.
again?
Here it is. Are you going to run against
Run
Chris
again, yeah.
Albert? Will you run against
So-
Chris Albert? Everyone wants to see it.
Right. So I ran last year. I ran to shake it up because I was upset what they were doing with the police audit. And I ran to shake, I got in at the last minute, and it was an incredible experience running. And when I lost, it gave me the time that I needed to support Karen with the court. Because if I was on the select board, I never would have been able to stand out the way I did for her. So it was a gift not to get elected last year. And this year, everything has taken so much out of me. And so many people in Canton, when you live here, it takes a lot out of you. We're fighting the battle on two different fronts. And, so this year I was really excited when I heard Susan was running. When I ran, Susan supported my campaign, and she didn't even know who I was. And she donated generously to my campaign. And I knew that if she believed in me, I believed in her. And the more I learned about her, the more I loved her. And, so I knew that this time we needed Susan Harrington. She was the one. I think Dave Clow would be awesome on the select board. And maybe he'll run next year. I don't know what I'll do. I'm not planning on running next year. I like to do what I do. And that is to get behind the causes that I'm passionate about and be the best cheerleader I can be to help get people across the line and to join in. And so that's what I like to do. I don't think I'll run next year, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to make a difference. I'm here for the people, and I'm here for a better living situation. And that's what we all want. We all want the best. And that's what I'm here for. I want to spread joy. I want to spread love and happiness. And I want to get people engaged, and I like to have them have fun. So that's who I am. And, some of the stuff that the select board does, I'm not interested in, even though I know how to do something. It's just like, I want to be there for I want to work full time. I love my job. I was out of work 5 months last year. People don't know that. I was out of work 5 months last year because of the impact that this had on me. And I love my job, and I want to work full time. I meet people all over the world every single day, and I either enrich their life or they enrich my life. And I have the best job in the world, and I love my job. I love people. And I just want to continue to be with people and help people. And so I don't think I'll run next year, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be right here. And I also want to see what I can do to support Dejuna. Is that how I say her name? Dejuna? Juna. I want to be able to support her because Michael Morrissey's next. We got to get him out.
Right. We're going to support Juna next. 2026. The other question came in. I think you kind of partially answered it earlier, but Rita, will you be at the standouts again? You are missed. This is from Beachy Stacy. Yes?
Yes. So look, my focus since the first of the year, because I only have so much energy, even though it looks like I'm, exuding with it, but my focus was this election. And now I need to just recover from this because a tremendous amount of effort, was put into this. I do see myself at the standouts. I don't know. I can't do it like I did last year. I can't, but I do support Karen. I saw the article in the Globe this week, which was, it really upset me. People were sending it to me, and I actually started to write to her, but, it's tough because I'm working full time. What a joke of an article. What a joke of an article. And it was irresponsible, and it was cheesy. It was cheesy,
It's funny that she didn't come. The woman said people were frightened.
Yeah,
who used to be Kara Reed supporters, but I mean, it's funny that she would have to fish for that. And people have not publicly been saying that in public, but what we've heard in public over and over again is from people like yourself, like the Sweeneys, like that woman that I had on from Gloucester, these other women, these other moms, these grandmas who had the state police harass them basically.
That's
You know,
right.
so it's funny how when a certain narrative is supposedly frightened,
Yeah.
they'll look for that, but they'll ignore all of us on this other side. Like even myself, I got frightened
Yeah.
by what they were threatening on me. Never cover that. Never have any interest in the state police and the DA's office. And who knows? I mean, we still don't know who sent you those letters, Rita. We still don't know who threw that acid on your lawn. But none of that. Boston Globe doesn't care about that. They're not interested in showing both sides.
No.
In manufacturing something that doesn't even appear to be real when all this real shit on this side is right here. And we like there's videos that we could be showing this woman Beth from the Globe of state troopers showing up at people's houses and harassing them.
Yeah.
On and
She's
on,
not,
and they don't want to cover it.
yeah. I don't know who she is. She's not a legitimate reporter. I mean, of everything that's going on in this case, she decides to write about people telling her that they're frightened. I mean, give me a break. You're absolutely right. It's not the people that believe Karen Reed is guilty that are afraid. It's the people who know she's innocent that are afraid to say they know she's innocent because of what
Pushback.
the Alberts will do to them. Right.
Every time I have a big guest on the show, like a new guest, like like Nan Gallagher, the attorney we had her on first. Makes me wonder if, you're going to get attacked by all these new trolls now. You're prepared for this? Like, every time we have someone on new like that I know is going to be kind of a big guest the first time, I kind of have to warn them. I have to say, like, are you prepared for this? Are you prepared for harassment? Like, they looked at my parents' 1972 divorce. I mean,
Yeah.
this is like crazy shit that these people do.
Yeah.
But the Globe doesn't want to cover that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been asking the media to cover this shit, the harassment campaign that's DA sponsored. And obviously on Aiden, number one, and on Karen, Aiden and Karen are obviously the targets of it, but they swept all these other people into it, trying to get them to roll over on Aiden and Karen. It's been pretty disgusting. And Globe won't cover that. They won't cover that at all.
No. And if this Beth was any kind of a journalist, right? People are afraid. Why don't you give us the real story? Because there is no real story. Why did these people flip? What was the evidence that made them flip? There is no evidence because anyone who looks at the facts of the case knows that Karen Reed is factually innocent. Nobody flips from Karen unless they're pissed off, unless they hate Aiden. Those are the people that flip. The people that don't like Aiden. There's a direct correlation. I don't know how people go from seeing the facts, which she's innocent, to I hate Aiden, so therefore Karen's guilty. They are not one and the same. And so Beth is a joke, and I've been trying to send her this email and, I'm trying to do it in between my breaks and whatever. And then today I just said, you know what? She's just not even worth my time. It was such a cheap article. It was so cheap. But I am upset that she used my picture. She took me, Dina, and then she ended up replacing it with a picture of Renee. I mean, we're her fiercest supporters, even though, and I want people to know, even though I haven't been able to stand out, which I always didn't stand out. I was always balancing the select board and the standouts, more the select board. And then with the court, I stayed out the whole court. I was always balancing it. I have never stopped advocating for Karen Reed. I advocate for her every single day. Every single day, I advocate for Karen Reed, and she is innocent and she could be any one of us. And everyone should be concerned. Everyone should be standing up for her because it could be you next if we do not have justice for John. And this is about John. And that's another thing that really upset me with Beth. Like she writes like we're super fans, right? And I know Gene Casale.
You know what's most offensive? I'm going to just say this right now about Beth. Is that you have people who have put their names on the line. Rita Lombardi, you're one of them. And you've documented the harassment that you received. The receipts are there. You got pictures, you got times, dates, you notifications, you got incidents that happen to you. You got police reports. You got all this stuff. And here she is talking to people who have none of that.
Right.
They told her their names. They're probably making up stories. They're probably that KP lady who's obsessed with Turtle Boy, that crazy lady.
Yes.
And instead of actually covering the real victims like you and Dennis and his wife and all these other folks that I talked about,
Yeah.
they
And she,
don't. And then they put your picture on there and gaslight you. They
yeah.
gaslight you by putting your picture up there, ignoring your existence, and then pretending to cover the real victims who don't even exist. It just
Exactly. And there's no, and she got her sources from Facebook. Do you know how many trolls are in that group? I mean, you know, anything that she got, it was either made up or from McAlbert's. And if she took somebody's Facebook name, Mary Sue or whatever, I mean, really? That's who you interviewed? You know, if she was any kind of a journalist, which I'd like to say her last name, what is it, Teatrell? Something like that. Beth Teatrell, the Boston Globe. Don't read her stuff. Junk, you know. But, you know, if she's any kind of a journalist, you know, if these people are frightened, well, what about the evidence made them change their mind? Really, to give us the evidence that changed their mind, because there's nothing that anyone who knows the facts of this case would change their mind. No one would. You know, it's overwhelming, the forensic evidence. So, you know, somebody like her, you know, she wanted to be relevant. She wrote a cheesy article, and she used my picture and Dina's picture to get readers, and it was rubbish, just rubbish. And I think we're going to see a lot of propaganda. You know, look, mainstream media didn't cover this. That's why the YouTubers did. And if it wasn't for the YouTubers, we wouldn't have had this story. So, you know, Boston Globe is mainstream media. Oh, here she goes. Here she goes. Here goes Tracy. Here goes Tracy.
all right.
Good evening, everyone. I have more precinct results. In Precinct 1 for Select Board, John Connolly, 225. Susan Harrington, 384. For Board of Assessors, William Galvin, 473. For Board of Health, Angeli Bayless, 411. For School Committee, Christian Darrigan Miranda, 365. Amanda Ryder, 362. For School Committee, the one-year term, Sonia Rose Gratis, 372. For Planning Board, David McCarthy, 368. Hamilton Soros Rodriguez, 154. For Library Trustee, Nancy Connery, 394. Margaret Mead, 386. Emily Prago, 380. The non-binding question, yes, 353, no, 202. For precinct results for Precinct 4, Select Board, John Connolly, 289. Susan Harrington, 473. For Board of Assessor, William Galvin, 556. For Board of Health, Angeli Bayless, 500. For School Committee, Christian Miranda, 427. For Amanda Ryder, 447. For School Committee, the one-year term, Sonia Gratis, 452. For Planning Board, David McCarthy, 449. Hamilton Rodriguez, 192. For Library Trustee, Nancy Connery, 475. Margaret Mead, 457. Emily Prago, 453. The non-binding question, yes, 454. No, 253. In Precinct 5 results, Select Board, John Connolly, 362. Susan Harrington, 474. Board of Assessors, William Galvin, 606. Board of Health, Angeli Bayless, 550. School Committee, Christian Miranda, 483. Amanda Ryder, 468. School Committee 1 year, Sonia Grotis, 491. For Planning Board, David McCarthy, 487. Hamilton Rodriguez, 209. For Library Trustee, Nancy Connery, 516. Margaret Mead, 518. Emily Prago, 513. Non-binding question, yes, 481. No, 268. In Precinct 6 results, Select Board, John Connolly, 195. Susan Harrington, 424. For Board of Assessors,
Wow,
Galvin,
that's double.
William Galvin, 481. For Board of Health, Angeli Bayless, 464. For School Committee, Christian Miranda, 411. Amanda Ryder, 403. School Committee 1 year term, Sonia Grotis, 421. Planning Board, David McCarthy, 364. Hamilton Rodriguez, 184. For Library Trustee, Nancy Connery, 436. Margaret Mead, 434. Emily Prago, 448. Non-binding ballot question, yes, 394. No, 174. And those are all of the precincts except 2 and 7 have not reported yet. Thank you.
2 more precincts haven't reported yet. Well, that's kind of interesting. There's
Susan.
Tim.
Yeah, this is Tim from Canton Community.
Oh,
wanna
I
thank
love
him.
Tim. He's so good. That whole team is so great.
He said the chat earlier was saying that I was sounding like I was underwater. Do I sound like that to
Yeah,
you?
there was.
Leah?
Yeah, there was a couple of times where the mic. I was going to tell you the mic sounded a little muffled, and then you came out. So I don't know if it was where you were positioned, but there was a couple times the mic did sound like it went under. It was hard to hear.
Weird.
Yeah, if it happens again, I'll put my hand up.
Let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know. It was you talking, so I couldn't say. Oh, here she is. Here she is.
Hi, I'm Tanya Willow, and welcome to Canton Community Television. We are back at Town Hall, and we just heard precincts. We have 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 officially in. We're still waiting on 2 and 7. But Suzanne Harrington ran for the Select Board against John Conley. It seems like these numbers are pretty solid. So I guess that we can congratulate you that
Thank
you
you.
are the winner.
Tentatively.
Tentatively, not officially, but tentatively, and that it
she
seems like
won.
you've won this this election. Before I ask you some questions, though, I do feel that we should thank John Conley just because he has done so much for this town. I'm sure that this was very difficult for him. I know this last 3 years have been so divisive in Canton, as we all know. And regardless where people fell on how they feel about the Karen Reed case or all the subsequent controversies regarding that, and very strong emotions and justified emotions in a lot of ways. But I can remember Mark Porter, who served on the Select Board, saying it takes about 15 hours a week just to go through the packages to be prepared. So we watch the meetings here on Canton Community Television, but they take anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours. And this takes 15 hours to prepare for that meeting. So if we look at John's service, that's not literally countless, but countless hours that he's put into the community. And I think no matter where you stand on what's happened in this town, knowing John, he loves the town and he loves the people that are in it. And I think that we just need to acknowledge that his efforts and his work over all these years deserves a recognition.
Most definitely. He's really given a lot to the town.
He's
been very dedicated.
And he loves this town. So
100%.
And so I just wanted to say that because I know that we've been in very tough times, but but John does love the town.
My town.
But you one-handedly, it seems, in this. What do you think the voters were saying
It's not
to the town, to you, and what is it that you want to do differently? What was the communication that was being made by these voters?
Yeah, I've talked to so many voters in the course of this campaign, knocking on doors, meet and greets, their community events, and there was definitely an overwhelming desire to, number one, bring this community back together. You know, I heard the word embarrassed a lot. People felt embarrassed to be from Canton, and that really bothered them. They love this town, but you know, when they talk to people who are not from Canton,
Sure.
you know,
They get a comment like, "Oh my God, you're from
Exactly.
Canton." Yeah, I hear that.
yeah. But also just we need to come back together. We just need to come back together. So those were recurring themes, and a lot of people just felt it was time for some change.
And what do you think? And I hear that too. That sometimes it's just time for a change, especially under this kind of circumstance where there is a lot of healing that needs to be done.
Yeah.
We will see, I think, maybe by summer, a conclusion to the Karen Reed case, one way or the other, perhaps.
Let's hope.
And we are past now. We had the audit that's sort of behind us. I don't think this past 3 years will ever be completely behind the town, but the town's going to face some new issues, probably heavily economic ones, given what's going on
Yes.
and what's going to be happening. So on those two fronts, let's take the first piece of it first. How can a singular select board member, or even the select board as an entity, help the town heal and move forward?
So me as a single person on the select board absolutely can't do it. The select board is only one facet of the solution to the problem. But I think we need to really truly listen to one another, and that's maybe the piece that's been missing. And you know, hopefully the select board will be able to lead by example in that regard.
So maybe one of the things that needed to be improved upon, when people spoke in this room, we've watched all those meetings and saw how
Yeah.
what took place. Was there an aspect you feel that maybe people felt unheard about their concerns?
I do.
Okay.
Having been in the room for those meetings, I did feel the body language was conveying, we're just sitting here waiting for your time to be up.
Yeah.
And there were exceptions, but I think that that just escalated the anger, you know, so.
And do you think that this is the beginning perhaps of a shift so that people may begin to be heard?
I
Okay.
am very hopeful that we are turning the page and we're going to have something, a different tone.
So as we turn the page and we look at some new issues, new to this executive office for yourself, and it's a little bit difficult in the elements of being new and green to this particular
Yes.
piece, especially I think, I don't know this, but you may be stepping into a crisis period. I'm not just talking about
Right.
Karen Reed. I'm talking about, you know, I look at the paper, we all see our 401ks disappearing. They say a recession is on the way. I'm reminiscent of, I hate to bring up this era, but 1979, 1980s, when towns really had to cut back because of Proposition 2.5. But you know, the ability of the state to subsidize schools, et cetera, may be severely crippled. I'm not saying it's definitely will be, but there is some concern with that. What sort of background and help could you do if we do hit some very tough economic choices as the town moves forward?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. So, and there's so much uncertainty, and it's federal funding, it's impact of tariffs. So just as an example, what impact are tariffs going to have on the cost of building the middle school that
Yes,
we just
huge.
decided to do? That could be a very, very significant number. And we don't know. So I think it's time to start sort of mapping out scenarios and trying to plan for those different scenarios. But it's, as we know, it's a very volatile situation in Washington. So it's going to make it hard on all small communities that depend on federal dollars.
And I'm guessing, you know, talking to Derek Folan, who is the superintendent, a lot of hard work went into this piece of getting the Galvin Middle School, and again, John Conley was a big part of that piece to try to bring that bring it past to a
Yeah.
vote, so it went forward. Is there a way that the Gallatin Middle School project can be directly communicated to the executive, to the select board, so that we can know trouble before it starts? Is there any kind of mechanism for that? Do you know?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I would hope that, I think that communication between different facets of the town government is critical.
Yes,
So
yes.
we got to open up those channels if they don't already exist.
I think that you're going to be busy.
I do too.
Because of this, not just the immediate problems in front of us, but because of the future problems that may be down the line.
Yeah.
And hopefully things will the select board will get together and things will go as smoothly as possible. Do you have any particular hopes that you see for the next year or so of this position?
Oh, for the next year. Okay. Well, definitely sort of getting the temperature lowered in town so that we can all start to treat each other well. That's the short-term thing. As you say, getting on the other side of the whole Karen Reed trial and all that it's done to us. I agree. I don't think we're ever going to quite be the same after this ridiculous experience. But we have lots of things to tackle. We have climate change. We have a housing situation in town. My personal, if you want to call it a pet project, would be the downtown. But as you point out, with all the uncertainty from Washington, a lot of these things may get waylaid as we move into crisis mode. Certainly hope that's not the case, but I think we have to consider that possibility.
One of the things I like about fresh candidates is they tend to talk to many, many people.
Yeah.
When you were out there, what was the thing that people seemed to be most concerned about? I know Karen Reed in that controversy was a piece of it, but did anybody communicate to you that they don't like the downtown looks or traffic? What was the thing that people seem
Everyone
to be
complains
upset?
about traffic all the time.
Sure.
I think that's a perennial problem. I think that some people didn't feel safe. And that was heartbreaking to me.
Yes.
To hear that.
Yes.
And I did hear that. I'm not saying the majority of people I talked to, but a significant percentage did express that concern.
And perhaps too, as the Karen Reed case gets behind us, maybe we're hoping for that piece of it to start waning a bit. Because people have experienced so much in this past 3 years.
I feel like our whole town has PTSD right now.
Right now, absolutely. Yeah. And it's hard to heal from that. We know that. So just this one element of the election of you're taking this position isn't going to heal all that.
No, I'm not that
good. but it is but it's a lot to take on and a lot of for you too. I mean, to be kind of put in this position. So congratulations.
Thank you.
But I also hope that that you are getting out and eating well and exercising and sleeping, because it sounds like it's going to be one of those be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. I've always had a lot of balls in the air, so hopefully I can manage all that.
Because you have started your own business with children, and it's a lot to have a lot of balls in the air, and it sounds like you've this is not your first rodeo as far as that goes.
I'm pretty tough cookie that way.
Well, that's great. That's very important.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations. And it sounds like it's a new day is coming for you, and it's exciting
And
for
for
you
us all.
and for the entire town. All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for coming on and talking
My
about.
pleasure.
Yeah. We'll see you on the select board meetings as well.
Okay.
So that'd be great.
To date.
Right. So we have we've got most of the information done. I think that we'll come back maybe if we get the final two official numbers to see how many people voted from Tracy. So we're going to fade for a minute, and then we'll come back depending upon how long it takes. We're already at 10:15. Maybe we'll wait around till around 10:30 and give you a full numbers on how many people voted today. Thank you.
Some people didn't like her interview skills. I thought she was fine. She was fine.
She's fine. She's
the only thing I wish she had asked that she didn't ask was about the police chief. I think she should have asked about that. But that was a fine interview. She was fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
she knows how
I think she just wanted to acknowledge Sean Conley. I mean, 36 years. Somebody is gone. He definitely should be acknowledged. So I don't think she did a bad job, actually. What do you think?
I don't think she
Rita?
did either. I don't think
No.
she did either. She, look, she's just, we're just regular people. We're just regular people just talking about the town. So it is a new day.
Yeah,
It
John
is
Conley is out. To answer that question from OnlyFans, John Conley is
it's
out.
out,
You will not see him. Unless he shows up as a random effing citizen.
right.
He's done. He's done. Susan Harrington defeated him tonight.
Yep.
It wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close. And
We don't have to wait to even count all the votes. We're still
Yep.
waiting for some precincts, but it's obvious she won. I mean, one of them, it was 289 to 473. I was like writing them down as they came in, and it was just one of them was just like more than 2-1.
Yeah.
Like she won every precinct they read by at least 100 votes. So this is not a close
Unbelievable.
race.
No. And I believe it was there's 7 precincts, and I believe that precinct 4 and 5, neither Trisha nor I took. That's my recollection. I could be wrong. And Susan swept both of them. Swept them. And in my neighborhood, there were so many signs for Susan. And I'm precinct 5. And there was so many signs. And John had them along the streets. But, Susan did the work. John never had to campaign. And, when you look at those numbers, and last year, Tom Theodore got more than John Conley. That's telling. And Tom Theodore came in 4th, and he got more than John Conley.
It shows you how not popular John Conley is at this point.
Yeah,
People
exactly.
have had enough of him.
People have had enough, and he brought it on himself. He had a chance to lead, and he chose not to. And this is what happens. If you don't do your job, somebody else will.
Someone made a funny comment over here. They asked about Tim from Canton Community Television, who was on the screen. They said, is he related to Billy Corgan? Which I think is funny because there's probably Canton's most famous resident at the moment is Bill Burr.
Yes.
Who is apparently, turns out, might be Billy Corgan's brother from Smashing Pumpkins. They had the same father they didn't know about, or some crazy stuff.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Billy Corgan and Bill Burr apparently are actually brothers, and I'm just wondering, did Tim have the same father that maybe he didn't know? Because he kind of does look. If you look at Tim, he looks like he might be related to Bill Burr or Billy Corgan.
Wow.
Who knows?
I have no idea.
Everyone in Canton is related, it turns out.
Oh, let me just tell you, the connections in Canton are unlike anything you've ever seen, in my opinion. It is. Everybody is connected. Everybody is connected, and everything goes back to Canton. It just the connect. That's why it's so excruciating at times, because everybody's connected, and relationships have been shattered, and people see me and I'm happy and everything, but believe me, relationships in my life and people's lives have been shattered, and there's things that I just don't share, but I'm connected to everything. Everybody's connected, and people that we love. My daughter has suffered, people have cut people out of their lives, for my speaking out, and it's not just me, it's everyone. It's a ripple effect. And it's been excruciating, because we are all connected, and people do love each other, but when something like this happens, you got to speak out, and that's what I've done. And but it's cost me, and it's cost other people. That's why people don't talk. That's why people weren't talking, because they knew that what the suffering that it was going to cause. And I get it, but you got to do the right thing. And some people couldn't speak out, and that's okay. They spoke out today. This is today.
A huge day. This
Yes.
is huge. This is
And
so
I'll take
monumental.
that.
It's
Right.
women too. Women have stood up today. Like so many of the women that were treated like shit
Yeah.
by the select board. That was when it started, this whole thing that we've been seeing, this 2-year campaign. It was 5-0. It was all men. Now it's 2 women on that board. And a lot of women like yourself, Rita, have been leading this movement in Canton. And I got to think like that's who put Susan way over the top tonight. It was the women coming out and voting. It just desserts. It's amazing to see. Do you have for your final thoughts tonight? Like, because I mean,
You
we
know,
know that she won. We just got to see her speak. You've
right.
been campaigning for weeks. You must be so excited. What are your final thoughts tonight on this?
My final thoughts are this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And this is just the beginning for all of us. You know, everyone coming together to help Canton achieve this victory. It's just the beginning. And Michael Morrissey's next. And, you know, we, the people, need to elect people that are going to lead with integrity. And we need more people like Susan Harrington. And, you know, she is an educated woman. She's a professional woman. She's been a small business owner who grew her business. She's a doctor. She knows, she has compassion. She has all of the competencies that we need in a leader. And we need more Susan Harringtons in this world. And I thank everybody, and everybody just keep doing what you're doing. And next, we got a free Karen Reed. So,
Right.
so thank you, everybody. And it's a new day for Canton. And I am over the moon. I am over this is like winning the lottery. And we won the lottery today. And the people spoke.
And I guess I'm having that microphone issue. Did you hear it again?
No, that was fine. You're fine.
Huh. I don't know. Maybe they're 10 minutes behind.
Yeah, maybe. No, the microphone
Yeah.
issue went away, but
Yeah,
you know,
sometimes the comments come in and they're still watching 20 minutes ago when I had the mic issue. I hope not. I gotta let it show tomorrow. I got a second backup mic now. I got a Yeti, so I could plug that one in because I've had some issues, and now I got all the backup equipment. I can always unplug it. But I want to thank you so much for being here tonight, Rita Lombardi. It's always great to have you on the show. This is a perfect night to have you. I'm so happy for you. I'm so congratulations. You deserve this, to see this come true, to see now we got two women, strong women on the board now, and Susan's going to kick ass. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to the residents of Canton. Congratulations to everyone who stood up, like the Sweeneys who were in the chat tonight. Just amazing to see. I'm so happy for you. Just hit us up anytime you need anything. You let us know. And congratulations. We're looking forward to seeing you again out at the standouts. People want to see you again on the standouts.
Absolutely. And Mike, again, I thank you so much, because you again have been an incredible friend. And we couldn't do this without everyone, and you especially. So you've been near and dear for Canton, and I really appreciate it. And you will see me at the standouts. I'm just waiting for the right time. You know, I don't need to be there now, but you will see me there. And you know, it's a good day. Today's a good day. This is the tides are turning. Today's a good day. So thank you all. Good night, everybody.
Yes.
And we'll see you soon.
Know what? Tomorrow night, too, I got something for you, Rita. Rita, tomorrow night, we got 2 law enforcement on the show.
Oh.
The former FBI Rob. You know, people know Rob D'Amico. And we also have from the Mass State Police. Both of these guys are retired. Special Agent for the FBI, Rob D'Amico, and retired Todd McGee. We're going to be talking about the Canton police audit tomorrow night. So
I'm going to be watching. And in the meantime, I'm going to be cheering for Susan Harrington.
Yeah, celebrate. Drinks. I hope you have some champagne or something tonight.
I don't drink, but I'm going to have my pom-poms.
Yeah, you got to have some pom-poms. Have some cake or something. I don't know, a cupcake.
I'm going to have a gummy.
You got to celebrate tonight. Like, I don't know if you smoke the weed, but you should take
a hit
of a gummy or something tonight.
I will. All right, listen, we did it. We did it. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you so much, Rita. Have a great night.
Okay, you too. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye now. That was great. I love Rita Lombardi. I want to thank our moderators, Yeah, tomorrow night, 5:30 p.m. I'm going to have, first, I'm going to have Todd McGee, retired Massachusetts State Police. We're going to talk about the Canton police audit, what these guys think about it. Then at 6 p.m., retired FBI special agent. He was also a boss. He's a big director with the FBI as well. Rob D'Amico going to be here. We're going to be talking about the Canton police audit. I want to thank everyone who's been supporting us. I want to thank all the super chatters tonight. I want to thank our mod team. Thank you, MJ. Thank you, Sarah Shock and Horror. I want to thank Stephanie, Jeno, and Scott McGinnis. We have the best mod team around. Thank you, Grant Smith, Ellis Fan. Thank you. I'm trying to figure out how to even say this one. How do you say this one? Fire on Acid. Fire on Acid. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the super chats tonight. Thank you, Ask Bob and Carla FKR. And again, thank you, Sarah in Shock and Horror, our great mod. And I think Ask Bob for a great donation tonight. The audit. We'll be doing that tomorrow night. We'll be auditing the audit with former law enforcement tomorrow night. I think Mr. Mock's understudy. It's always here, kicking down. Thank you so much. Pilot Twist Pending, thank you. And Brennan, the human micropene. I dropped my phone on that one. That was a good one. Nikki, thank you. Dennis, Ronald, I can't, the micropene. I don't know. I think it's just funny. I don't know why. Buzzing for Truth, thank you. Thank you, OnlyFan. Yes, Jerk Circle United, we won tonight. We won tonight. This was an amazing night. I'm so happy that we won. I was worried. I was like, are we going to lose again? I was so worried that because she did go on these YouTube shows that she might lose, that she wouldn't get the word out. But everything on the street was telling me, no, Mike, she's got it locked down. That's what I was hearing. But you can't get overconfident. You can't always trust the word on the street. So I didn't know. I was like, I mean, she cleaned up tonight. We don't even have the final precincts and we know she won. Oh, this is amazing. I'll see everyone tomorrow night, 5:30. Doing live show tomorrow night. 2 great guests. Then I'm going to take off Thursday and Friday. Definitely taking off Thursday and Friday. Got family stuff going on. And then I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Next week, I'll be back with probably a lot of live shows because the Karen Reed trial starting. As soon as that starts up, I'll be all over it. I will be all over Karen Reed 2.0. Sharp Media says, Mike, ever need your help? Unfortunately, I'm focused on Karen Reed till that's over, and then maybe I can do Everett. Until then, it's going to be Karen Reed. Yeah, take care, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow night, 5:30 p.m. Yeah, get a rest and enjoy. Celebrate tonight. I'm celebrating. I'm going to go smoke one up right now. I am so happy. Thank you. How are you guys feeling? I mean, tell me on the way out. I want to see in the chat. How good are you feeling right now? Because I'm feeling like, I don't even know if I need to smoke one tonight. I think I'm already all jacked up. I am feeling good. And I got my duck. We're going to be dancing disco ducks over here. When the duck is dancing, I'm dancing. Yeah, puff, puff, pass tonight. Everyone loves Karen Reed. Yeah, it is fire tonight. All right, I'll see you guys and ladies, and especially the ladies. The women of Free Karen Reed and the women of Canton, you should be extra celebrating tonight because they didn't listen to you for like 2 years. We watched them ignore you. We watched them marginalize you. We watched them call you random citizens. Tonight, the ballots flipped. Tonight, you guys, you ladies, showed you're in control of the town of Canton. You're the heart and soul. You're the majority. The tide's turned. You're taking over. And it's a good feeling. Congratulations. Don't give up. Keep going. You're winning. It's like a tug of war. You're just stepping forward. You can see It's that much closer. You're so close now. It's amazing. I'm very proud to be even have a small part of this. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this, and thank you to our mod team. We have like I said, our mod team. We have 4 awesome women on there. I love the women of the Free Karen Reed movement and the women in Canton and the women on my mod team and all the guests who have been women on the show. Yeah, you did it tonight. So congratulations. And yeah, dudes, to us dudes, we contribute, but I just got to say, this wouldn't happen without the women of Canton, like Rita tonight and Kathleen, so many others. So this is a big night. And you've seen Brenda, another one, Brenda Sweet. I could keep going. There's so many of them. Yeah, us dudes are okay too. But this was a huge win tonight. All right, I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great night, everyone. I'm smiling now, just thinking. I'm gonna go. I gotta go celebrate now. Yeah, it is teamwork. Have a great night, everyone. I gotta go. Thank you.